Hey, wow. All right, Dewalt. Hey guys, Grebo Tools, doing a little bit of a comparison video here today. Got these guys in. These are the Matco Hyper Step drill bits. Cost one pretty penny, or $300 for the 29-piece set. And but I've heard nothing but good about them. So I'm going to compare them to a few other bits we got laying around here. Actually, I went out and picked these up. These are the only thing on the market that I know is somewhat similar in design, and this one being a Dewalt step drill bit. And I actually had a set of these a long time ago. They worked all right for wood, garbage for metal. So they've been in the filing bucket for a long time. So I ran out and picked up a set of those. I think it was like 20 bucks. And that was only like a 15, not even a 15-piece set maybe. But one of those weird ones with a bunch of skips and not all that usable to me. These guys are one of my go-tos. This is Norseman, made in the USA. And all these are 3/8. These guys in a set, you're looking about $100 for the same 29-piece set. So we have just a mild steel angle iron, about 3/16 of an inch thick. This guy here is a leaf spring off of a Ford E-Series. And that is tough. So I'm going to try and pull the picture up and show you, but I used some for target to protect some of the framework of the target, because when I took this out in the field and shot it, I went 6.5 Creedmoor, 223, 22 250, and a 308. Barely made a dent in this stuff. So, and I think I've cut up that piece and used it now, so I couldn't find it, but just little divots, nothing major. So that stuff is hard. But we're gonna give these guys a test. And so just if you're wondering, you will see me use some different drills. The reason on that is because I'm going to use the same drill for each one, but I've got a few different handheld drills, and I figured out which settings on which clutch settings for which drills are going to be close enough to kind of what the manufacturer recommends for a 3/8 drill bit through mild steel or hardened steel. And with that, it'll be equal across the board, but then I can hold it wide open. Then I don't have to be feathering the trigger and throwing off feed rates. I'm doing this more of a real world test. These are mechanics bits. And so you really don't have a drill press to go and lock it into something. This is hand drilling kind of a set, in my opinion. And so it's not real world ideal. Probably not going to lube them much. I might throw a little bit of oil when we try and do the hardened steel. But I've tacked these out with the RPM, and I guess let's just start at the bottom, see how these guys do. So it hits me. Not bad at all. Like I said, these are all brand new bits. The one thing that hit me about this style of drill bit compared to a normal style of drill bit is you could potentially do two holes right next to each other. And that almost worked. Almost got all the way through there. Gotta crank my chuck up. But yeah, not too bad. That one was the Dewalt step bit, kind of the equivalent. We can give the Norseman here a go. Ooh, didn't get that in the chuck very well, obviously. But still no issues. If we try and do that same side-by-side thing. Not quite as good having that pilot bit to follow. I'm curious how this is going to work on these step bits. So I mean, speed, easy use, nothing crazy there. I don't think they're that radically different, but this is a first I've actually used these, so I'm curious how it turns out. Yeah, it feels like it's needs to take a little more torque there. You can hear it in the drill, but do a second hole right next to it. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. That one might not have been quite as close to the other one. I'll do a third here, right next to it. Oh yeah, that's cool. That's kind of what I thought might happen. You're able to kind of just line up holes, one right next to each other because of the shape of the bit. Doesn't have any problem going through there. So that was just mild steel. I can see the chips coming off of here are a little bit hotter than these, probably because you've got 3 different speed or multiple different speeds with that step bit. Kind of throws things off. But let's see. You know what? I think we're just gonna go for it and say screw the lube. So this has got to be about 3/8 hardened steel, and I don't have a lot of faith that this is gonna work out well for any of these bits. But we'll take a shot at it. Oh, actually, before I get there, gotta change drills. That's a little bit faster than what they recommend. Hey, wow. All right, Dewalt. I am pretty impressed with that. Definitely started to struggle there at the end. I don't want to put my hand too close to this guy because it's hot, but actually not too bad a cutting edge on there. All right. I'm just kind of shocked that Dewalt actually did that job. So we will try the Norseman. All right, that is a little bit of a workout, but yeah, she hung in there just fine too. I thought this was gonna be a lot tougher test for this. For the final here, I've got a couple of pieces of tools, or a couple of pieces of tool steel to drill some holes in. Whew. I feel like I have to take a break after this. Catch my breath, because it's a lot to keep these holes going through. Well, it looks okay. Maybe that's normal. That does not sound healthy at all. Well. Yeah, I'm just chowdering it up right now. I don't know what the holdup is. It's hard to see on all these little teeth, but I think basically all the corners have been knocked down and lost their bite. Yeah, because I'm not cutting anymore. Well, so much for the good ones, huh? I mean, I honestly didn't expect any of them to pass this test, but for what I paid for these, I was hoping for a little bit more impressive. Huh. Let's check in that mild steel, see if it'll cut anything on that. It was going really well there for a minute. I think it was probably the faster of the 3 till it tried to break through the bottom, and then it just started skipping and chowdering and... And we can put it in the right speed of drill, but I don't think that's gonna make a difference. I think she's shot. All right, well, it still cuts that just fine. So I wonder if it work hardened that a little bit. Because I would think the speed shouldn't be equal with the shape of that is definitely a little bit different. We'll let that cool down here a little bit. And in the meantime, we're gonna keep pushing. The other advantage, I think, to this style is gonna be with that, like, I mean, you don't have to pilot them. It's got a built-in pilot, so that can save you time in certain areas. Same thing with the Dewalt one that's on now. But the disadvantage being you can't sharpen it because of that. The other thing is, with that pilot, it's easier to start. You know, this has a little bit of a rounded surface. It's not gonna wanna walk quite as easy. Yeah, you guys can see that. Ooh. Yeah, that one's getting the chowders now too. The tips are kind of knocked off of there. But we did make a pretty good hole in there. Let's try the Norseman. And we're through. Ah, friggin' A. That's all right, we gotta let the drill cool down a little bit. She's getting pretty hot to the touch. All right, now that the compressor's done doing its thing, we will see what the Hyper Step, what's left of it, can do on this guy. Okay, so that's where our holdup is. And one of the downsides to this bit. So it looks like the front teeth on here are still in good shape, or the front corners of the bits. But right in the back here, you can really see how they are kind of, ooh, that's hot. That was dumb. Yeah, not my brightest move. But you can see how these bottom two corners definitely are rounded over. Same thing over here. So once you get to that step, that's not cutting or feeding anymore. It's just creating heat. And that's holding it from going any further through. Because I'm not getting any chips, anything like that. It's just stuck. So, I guess there you have it. Yeah, that one's cooled down a little bit. Dewalt, on the other hand, little bit rounded over on both cutting edges there, but we still made it mostly through. And this guy, the other thing I noticed about this, I don't know if you could pick it up in the video, was that it had a lot finer shavings coming off there. It felt like it was a little slower to drill. You guys can make your own inferences on timing on that in the video. But definitely a finer chip coming off of it, not as aggressive. So, cool down a little bit. Sorry about the shake, essential tremor. I do this all the time. It's my entire life. Apparently they can shove a needle into my brain and stop where the shake comes from. Not really big on that, so All right, yeah, so I mean, I can see some advantages to them. I'm kind of surprised that the $20 Dewalt set actually drilled a longer hole, or drilled for longer. See if I can get this out without bumping my camera stand. But there was your Matco. Ooh, this guy's toasty too. We were able to make it all the way through with the Norseman. Those have been my go-to. And then, like I said, that Dewalt, once it got down and that tip came through, that other tip I think was too rounded over and kind of a similar failure as this. But I'm surprised that a bit that cheap put up with the abuse we put it through. And I think all three will still cut in this mild steel. We can give her a shot. So last part of this that I'm just kind of curious about is I do want to try sending this off to Matco and see what their warranty process is like. I am not afraid if they tell me no, because I'm abusing them. Yeah, so mild steel is still no problem with it, but it's really hanging up on something a little harder. If you can't tell, this drill and the chuck is old. I bought this back in like 2008, but it's still been working for me. And I mean, like I said, I timed out the speed so I can just hold it wide open so it's consistent across the three. And this was the one that happened to fall in line with the specs that I think I should be drilling at, so. Yeah, no problem with the Dewalt either. So that's their claim to fame, is these guys are supposed to be great on that hardened steel, and yeah, maybe not. So take it for what it's worth. You guys can make your own opinions on that. I'm just doing a little torture testing here today and thought I'd take you guys along for the ride. So tell me what you think. If you have any ideas, questions, I'll go drill some more holes if you have any ideas on how else to torture test these. So thanks for stopping by, and sorry I'm not better at YouTube.